What's going on, guys, and welcome to my first ever poker vlog. I'm playing some buddies that I've always played, so I'm pretty confident going into this game without all the blah, blah, blah. Let's get right into the home game hero. All right, for the first hand of the night, we look down at 4-6 offsuit. Now, normally I don't play this, but I am playing some guys that I know, some guys that I can exploit, okay? So I'm over here in the cutoff. I got 6-4 offsuit. I'm raising this up to $1.50, tacking the blinds. Now, when I see a raise to $4, this is a spot I should probably shut down, but I'm quick to call. I want to do a quick call here because I want to represent some strength, but we see a flop comes ace, king, 7 with 2 spades on the board, and the small blind leads out for $1.50. Against this particular opponent, we're just going to shut down. We're not going to try to run the bluff. 6-4 offsuit, no good. Shocker. So we're going to go to the next hand. Now, you guys will call me crazy, but I wake up with ace-4 offsuit here in the very next hand, and the player in the cutoff is going to raise it up to $1.50. And so he tosses that out. I'm over here, ace-4 offsuit. I have every intention of raising this one up, assuming that the button folds, but that same player we just talked about is now on the button. He raises $4 again. We just saw him do this last time. We assume his range was ace X, king X, a lot of that stuff. And although we can probably beat some of the holdings he has, against a cutoff open like this, we're actually just going to fold ace-4 offsuit. We call 4-6 offsuit, but ace-4 offsuit we fold. We're pretty skilled. Just to give you guys an idea here, this is the run out, and the cutoff ends up going all in on this river. There's not even flush draws out there or whatever else. There's just 9-10 jack. But what you're going to see here is the button does throw over pocket jacks in that position, so it just kind of shows you when you have live reads on players, you make adjustments. So the button raises this one up to $1.50. We're going to quickly call with queen 3 suited. Important thing to note about this button player is he's new to the game. He's been around it a few times, but he hasn't really played a whole lot. So this is a player that he's not going to see a lot of flushes. He's not really going to know whether or not his pairs are good or bad. We can run a lot of bluffs on him. We can run a lot of value. We're going to stick in the call. Big blind comes along for the ride, and we're going to go to a flop. Flop comes 9 jack 3. I get bottom pair on this board, and most of the time when I'm out of position like this, I'm just going to be betting small. Against this opponent pool, they're going to be folding a lot of the time. I just want to get hands out of there that are junk. Anybody that calls along, we've got some runouts. We got heart runouts. We've got a queen if we pair up, and bottom pair here is actually fairly strong against these ranges. So we get a call from the big blind and a call from the button. We're going to go to a turn, which comes pretty good for us. It's the ace of hearts. So now we just need one more heart. I'm actually just going to smooth check this one over because I don't think a bet does much for me. I think there's a lot of ace X in these guys' ranges that they're floating. So the big blind checks, and this is that button player we talked about leading out for $2 now. We're going to be quick to call with a flush draw, and we're going to see a river card. Now the river comes, bank, the 8 of hearts is exactly what we want. So against his opponent, we want to bet big because we want to get called by his ace X, by hands he's overvaluing. So this is where we are going to put in the big boy raise of $2. Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, the guy on the button, he's my friend, and you know, with him being new, I really don't want to squeeze him for a shit ton of value. So yeah, we do get that one. All right, very next hand, we look down at ace-8 of diamonds in the small blind. So, player on the button leads out $3. We're just going to quickly call that. We are not afraid to play this guy with a suited ace. The big blind ends up coming along in this pot, so we're going 3 ways to a flop of deuce, 4, 9, 2 diamonds. This is lovely. We're going to bet really small. The idea behind betting small here is we want to induce some raises from high cards, such as any ace X that thinks they're strong, so we bet out $1. Big blind, quick to raise this one up to 3. We are going to call that off. And what do you know, the king of diamonds comes on the turn, giving us the absolute nuts on this board, and we're going to do the sneaky move. We're going to check this. The idea here is these opponents have, you know, they've learned what I've wanted them to learn, which is when I bet small on the flop, I'm winning folds, and when I check the turn, I'm weak. You know what that makes this player do? It makes him bet into my nut flush draw. Yeah, so he goes ahead and he bets out 4. He ends up like shoving that with his other bet, which like was kind of annoying. But now when he bets 4 like this, we're just gonna call. I mean, we can get so much money in on the river by just calling here. We're gonna make it look, we're long, we're thinking about it. Do I call? Do I not? Does he have the flush? I don't know. I guess I call. You know, I guess I call. I don't really know how I felt about this river. 6 of diamonds here. Against this particular opponent, I just think we have to bet small and get a little value. I really don't think he's going to try to blast off without a diamond. It's a $23 pot, and I think he just checked this one back. So we're going to bet small in hopes to get a little bit of value out of this. The other nice thing that this bet can do sometimes is be a small bet that can induce some bluffs. But here he just calls off, and we're going to go ahead and take this $31 pot down, which is a good little score. So this hand isn't crazy relevant. We got King 3 offsuit, but why I want to show it is because I want to give you guys an idea on how to start reading your opponents, how to learn from prior hands to play them better in the future. I'm talking about here, you just saw the button lead out for $2. The small blind called, I called, flop is 6-a-6. Doesn't really matter. Turn comes the jack, and small blind leads out for $1.50. I go ahead and fold this one. Now what you'll see is the small blind goes ahead and turns over Queen 7 suited. And this is exactly that opportunity we talk about, capitalizing on your opponent's weakness and their tells. So the button leads out for $2 here. I limped. Now we've got the small blind who's going to end up making this call. What does that mean for us? $2 pre-flop means they have hands like Queen 7 suited. They have weak aces. They do not have top of range or even top 20% of range. So what's that mean? It means we can be betting big, and 90% of the time they're folding this to us. We get a free $4 by betting 10. In the times they call, we have low cards that can occasionally play, and even if we whiff, that's fine because we print so much money long-term in this spot that it doesn't matter. So now for the last hand of the night, and it's a big one, we have 9-10 suited, and the button raises $2.50 again. So what do? The same thing we keep talking about. Capitalize on the weakness. We raise this one up. It's going to be $5 total. If he calls, we're not afraid because we can get him off a lot of boards. The other thing I think is important to mention about my playstyle is when I do things like the $10 raise and have to show the 6-3 offsuit, I'm not going to be doing a raise like that again throughout the night because now they're going to reflexively think that I can have hands like 6-3 where I did. So we're going to adjust and only play the range that should be or could be raising that large. Anyways, back to the hand here with 9-10 suited. Flop comes 6 Jack Queen. This is amazing. We have an open-ended straight draw. We bet $2 out into 10, and he reaches for raising chips. Of course, we're going to call this one after the $2 raise. We made it a $12 pot. Then he made it a $20 pot by raising 8. So we just got to call 6 into 20. We've got to be winning, like 30% of the time because, 6 over 20 is 30% if we want to be break even. And bink, the king comes on the turn. It's king of hearts. And like you saw earlier when we had ace-8 suited against his opponent and we hit the nuts. I mean, it's not the nuts because we are losing to 10 ace. All we're going to do is check because he's going to do what? He's going to bluff. And here he's got a semi-bluffing. He's got a draw. But, we want those draws to bluff there and then break on the river like it did here. And we take down a big pot. And with that score at the end, we're able to book a $60 profit on the night. Not bad for 2 hours of play. Thanks for tuning in to your home game hero. Until next time,